Smash the like button if you agree that men content creators are more entertaining than female content creators. There's a reason why I hardly ever have female guests on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast.
You see, here's something that people don't talk about. Well, people don't talk more about. The fact that all female content creators suck. They all suck. None of them are charismatic, none of them are funny, and none of them have a personality. They have to rely on their sex appeal, and that's the problem. That's the problem with all female content creators. They all gotta rely on the sex appeal because they know they're boring. They are not charismatic, so they gotta appeal to the sexual side. They gotta make sure they look attractive on screen. They gotta make sure they look attractive on video, because the only reason people click on those videos is because they might be somewhat half attractive or mostly just attractive. Meaning, if you have good looks, we will hear what you have to say based on how you look. That's not good. For example, go on Twitch, search up Twitch and do some research. I just found out that the top 20 Twitch streamers, most of them are all men. What does that tell you? And these men are ugly motherfuckers. So that's my point. Most people don't care about a man's looks. All we care about is, hey bruh, are you charismatic? Are you smart? And do you have a personality? That's all we care about. But the females, not so much.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
There's not a lot of females that are unattractive, but they are big on social media. They are big on Twitch. They are big on YouTube. No, you better make sure you are attractive. Let's be real. The only somewhat entertaining females on YouTube are the red pill females or the right-wing females. That's about it. But mostly everybody else sucks, or they're boring, they have no charisma. That's why all females gravitate towards men who have charisma, because they themselves don't have charisma. Here's why. The only entertaining females online are the red pill females and the right-wing females, because they talk like guys. Most guys relate to them. Their whole fan base are men. Red pill men, macho men, guys like that. They talk like dudes, so we view them as one of the guys. That's about it. That's why those females are more entertaining compared to the other females. But if we are going by just in general, man, females are not entertaining unless they are half naked. They have no personality. Go on Twitch. Go and watch these pool stream hoes. They have no personality. All they have is looks. They have no charisma. They're not funny. They can't tell jokes. Oh yeah, that's one other thing that I want to mention. There's no such thing as a funny female, okay? All female comedians suck. Everybody knows that. All female comedians suck. None of them are funny. They are tryhards. Listen, their comedy comes from sex. Everybody knows that. Every female comedian, their comedy comes from their sex life. Man, that's boring. How long can you keep that up? I don't know how you Mr. Simptastic men watch Pokimane. I don't know how you chimpanzees do it. I tried, I can't do it, man. She has no personality. That's all you men focus on is looks. Because bro, she has no charisma. Her voice is too soft-spoken. And she's not funny. She has no charisma, no personality. So what are you watching for? She has no knowledge about what's going on in the world. So what are you watching for? If you go on Twitch right now, Twitch mostly promotes men. They mostly promote men streamers because men are the most entertaining. Listen, outside of Pokimane and Marant, there's nobody else that you can think of who's entertaining. And those two females are hella boring. Females suck when it comes to being content creators if it's not about sex. For example, let's talk about fake pro wrestling. Man, females have the worst takes when it comes to talking about fake pro wrestling. So why would you want to say that? Man, I've lost count on so many females who try to become fake pro wrestling commentators on YouTube. They all suck and they all fail and then they give up. That is facts on mother effing facts. What about that one chick who tried to talk about fake pro wrestling? I think her name was Female on Cinema. Man, I don't know why she quit and gave up. She let these incels bully her off of YouTube. That's insane in the membrane. That's why this is a man's world. It's like, why would you let incels bully you off of Twitter, YouTube, etc. just because you talk about fake pro wrestling? Now, what about Megyn Kelly? Let's be real. The only reason she's watchable because she talks like a man. Her takes sounds like a man's takes. That's why people watch her. And she is somewhat attractive. But let's say Megyn Kelly was not attractive. Man, nobody would watch. Let's be real. The only thing she would have to cling on to is her manly takes. That's about it. But like I said, go and Google the most watched Twitch streamers in the top 20. It's all men. It's mostly men. Maybe the top 25. It's all men. Let's be real. Unless you're half naked or dressing kind of skimpy. Listen, female, we're not gonna watch you, especially if you have shit takes. If you have shit takes, then yes, most likely you are dressing half naked. That's about it. Okay, for example, if you are trying to become a martial artist, who are you going to watch on YouTube to get more information on becoming a martial artist? It's not going to be a female martial artist. It's going to be a man martial artist. Because females are boring, they have no charisma, they have no personality. You cannot relate to the average female YouTuber unless she's half naked or she is somewhat attractive. If she's not, she's done. If there's a female online who has tons of followers, millions, thousands, and she has great engagement with her audience, well, most likely she's not ugly. She's very attractive. You can't say that about men. There's tons of guys that are ugly as fuck, but they got millions of followers on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, etc. Females cannot say that. There's not a lot of females that are ugly, but they got millions of followers. That's not how that works. You need personality, something. Listen, I've had people tell me that when they watch these female Twitch streamers who do these pool streams, man, they put these females on mute. They lower down the volume because they don't want to hear them talk. These are facts. All females suck at becoming content creators. They suck at gaming. They suck at being YouTubers who you relate to if they're not attractive. If they're not attractive, most likely they will have a failed YouTube career, a failed YouTube experience. What about Candace Owens? The only reason Candace Owens has a following is because she talks like a man and she is a right-winger. So that's where she gets her fans from. Her fans like it that she talks like a man. Candace Owens has red pill takes. Candace Owens is a right-winger. Most of her fan base are all men. Most female comedians, most female YouTubers, social media females, they try too hard. That's the problem. They become unauthentic because they try too hard to become entertaining. People can see right through the bullshit. That's the problem. People can see fakeness. People can see when you are trying too hard. There's no such thing as a funny female outside of Julia Louis-Dreyfus or Lucy O'Ball. Females like that, who else? Peggy Bundy, those females. But outside of that, there's no such thing as a female who's funny. I think Amaranth might be the perfect example of a female who's only popular because she shows off the goods. Her numbers are down on social media. To my knowledge, she's no longer as popular as she once was because she no longer shows off the goods. Now she has to rely on her charisma and personality. And we all know she has none of those things. That's why her numbers are down on social media. That's my point. All females are not entertaining online. They either try too hard or they gotta rely on the sex appeal to maintain their audience, to keep their audience. A man doesn't have to do that. All they have to do is be funny, entertaining, be smart, be witty. Okay, for example, there's no such thing as a female IShowSpeed. Speed. There's no such thing as a female Kai Cenat. A female cannot do that. A female cannot be IShowSpeed. Speed. She better be attractive. She can't be Kai Cenat. She better be attractive. You see, a man can be 5'5", 5'2". As long as he's funny and entertaining, we will watch him. I would say Michelle Obama is a prime example of all females suck at podcasting. Nobody wants to sit here for 2-3 hours or 1 hour to listen to a boring female talk about life. That failed Michelle Obama podcast, that's a prime example. Females suck at entertaining if they are not half naked online. I guarantee this, if Kamala Harris had a podcast, it will fail. But even though Barack Obama is a left-wing nutjob puppet, if Obama had his own podcast, I guarantee this, that shit will go viral. Everybody will listen to that podcast to see what Barack Obama has to say. What about this? Who would you rather listen to? A boring-ass Jennifer Aniston podcast or a Brad Pitt podcast? That's my point. Everybody will play and listen to a Brad Pitt podcast.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Which podcast will you listen to? Bill Clinton or his wife? Man, come on, man. 10 out of 10 people will play and listen to a Bill Clinton podcast because he has more dirt on his name. People want to hear his stories about his past. That will be entertaining. Will Bill Clinton admit that he smashed Monica Lewinsky? You see, that's my point. Everybody will play a Bill Clinton podcast. Okay, let this sink in. Kamala Harris went on a left-wing nutjob podcast called Call Me Your Daddy podcast. I'm like, hold on. You a female. Why would I call you my daddy? Okay, second, that was a failed interview. Nobody watched. Nobody cared about it because Kamala, she controlled every question in that interview. You see, bullshit like that, nobody takes female podcasters seriously. You see, Joe Rogan, he can say he helped the Donald become the president of the United States because the Donald had the balls to jump on the Joe Rogan podcast for 3 goddamn hours. How come Kamala Harris didn't do that? You see, this is a man's world. Men, we rule podcasting, YouTube, etc. Once again, if you are a female and you are not attractive, guess what? Your podcast and your YouTube channel, it will fail. And that is facts on mother effing facts. Okay, one last thing. I hate when incels try to correct me on the difference between an incel and a simp. Look here, nigga, there's no difference. And if you correct me, nigga, that makes you a simp. Why would you get butthurt and pissed off that I connect being a simp and an incel? Why would that bother you unless you are a simp and I have offended you by that same logic? Because, bro, I don't give 2 shits about the difference between a simp and an incel. Listen, a person who's an incel can turn into a simp. That's how that works. An incel can always become a simp down the line and later on. There's no difference because an incel will bend over backwards to satisfy a female just like a simp. What the fuck is the difference? You simp. You Mr. Simptastic Simpanzee. How dare you correct me? That makes you a simp. Why would I bother you? Why would that bother you? You Mr. Simptastic weirdo. I guarantee you this. The average person would rather listen to a man talk shit about the average females on a podcast over a female who talks shit about men on a podcast. I've done my research. People would rather hear a man bash females on a podcast over a female bashing men on a podcast. And these are facts, are mother effing facts.